And welcome back to the Morning Blend. Well, whether you go to work or stay at home, whether you're the CEO or in an entry-level position, everyone can benefit from one very important topic, and that's feedback. With me now is Chuck Bolton. He's an executive coach who works with leaders and top teams to help them be their best. Welcome back to the show, Chuck.
Tiff, thanks so much for having me. It's great to see you.
It's always nice, yeah, because everybody gets so excited. They're like, when's Chuck coming back on? So it's always nice to see you. And we've been teasing this question all week. What is the most important question you'll ever learn? So what's the answer?
Well, first of all, that's great feedback for me, not to lead into our segment here, but the concept is really we've got to be open to giving and getting real-time 24/7 feedback if we're going to be our best at work and live great lives. So we've got to get comfortable with that, and a lot of us really aren't that excited about getting feedback.
I know, don't you think a lot of people kind of cringe when they hear that word? I think so many people are used to when they get feedback from someone, it's just maybe something that they've been doing wrong. So a lot of times they don't want it anymore.
Right, so there's this negative perception that I'm doing something wrong and it's not a good thing, but the reality is feedback can be a very good thing, and we want to open ourselves up to it. Masters actually they crave feedback. They want feedback from all kinds of sources, so we'd be well to adopt that attitude too. The reality is that the feedback's already out there, and by learning about it, there's something then we can do about it. But if we don't know, there's nothing we can do.
Exactly. So let's start with giving feedback. How does someone go about giving it, whether it's to somebody that they love or it's somebody that they work with or maybe a superior or even somebody under them? How do they start that process?
You bet. So there's some keys to giving feedback that are important to keep in mind. First and foremost, we want to make sure we make it safe for the other person. Secondly, we want to commit to the relationship. Tiffany, there's much we can do together. I want to see you be as successful as you can possibly be, so we commit to the relationship. The third thing we'd be wise to do is commit to just talking about one thing. What's the one thing that they could do perhaps a little bit differently, or a behavior that we may need to want them to be aware of to help them be their best. And I guess finally, we want to make sure that we're giving it from the right spot. Is it because we truly want to help them, or is it because we want to make ourselves feel better? And if it's about our own ego, we shouldn't give it then.
That's a good point, because oftentimes, you're right, maybe somebody sort of gives feedback to keep them down a little bit. Is that sort of what you're saying?
They can, absolutely, or to make themselves feel better. So we've got to ask ourselves that question. Am I really doing it to help them, or am I doing it for some other reason?
That's a good point. You say there's a 4-to-1 rule.
There's a 4-to-1 ratio. So if I'm going to give feedback, let's say to somebody at work, I want to make sure I'm giving positive feedback as well as constructive criticism. And I want to give that in a ratio of 4-to-1, 4 positives for 1 constructive, critical remark. That way people will know and feel like I really am looking out for their best interest and I'm acknowledging the good work that they do. They're much more apt to listen to the piece of feedback that I'm sharing with them.
That's good. And you say a good way to kind of visualize this is by using a ladder too.
What I call the ladder of feedback, and really you think about a ladder and it's got 4 steps on it, and the first step is the easiest one to take, and that's just saying, hey, thanks. You know, you might say to me in our segment today, Chuck, thanks for coming in. You gave us some great insights. That's a form of feedback. The next form might be suggesting something around how did you see it today, Chuck? You know, what did you think went well and not so well? The third step would be providing feed forward, where we might say, you know, in the future, when you do another segment, you might want to not cover so many points. Just get right to the one point. And the fourth could be, you know, may I share something with you? May I share an observation with you? And finally, we can ask, there's one thing that if you did a little bit differently would really create more value, you would have done a better job, create more value for you, for our team, our company. So that's kind of the most direct step, and that's the final step of that ladder of feedback.
And that really does seem like that's, again, something to help them be better. What can you do to add more value, because that's going to make them feel more secure in their job, too.
Exactly. We're helping them, we're helping coach them to get better and become their best, yes.
That's good. I like that. How about asking for feedback? If I want to say, you know, where can I improve as either a friend, a daughter, or a co-worker, how do I go about that?
Well, the first thing is most of us don't ask for feedback. And so, you know, I'll ask the question, have you asked for feedback in the last 30 days? But if we decide that it is important to get feedback and open ourselves up, we might want to ask them, Tiff, is there one thing that you think I could do a little bit more effectively that would help me be better here at work? So that's kind of the easiest step, the first step of the pyramid. The next step would be, is there something that I should either start or stop doing? The next step, if they don't answer to that, could be maybe something I should dial down or dial up. And then the most important question that we may ever learn is asking, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, how are we doing? So Tiff, on a scale of 1 to 10, how's my performance been on the morning blend? And what would take it to a 10? That is a very powerful question to ask.
It really is, and that's totally the answer. That's the most powerful question you can ever learn.
It really is.
I love that.
It really is. And let's think about using that for our relationship. So we ask our spouse or significant other, you know, honey, on a scale of 1 to 10, how are we doing this month? What can we do to help lift up that performance a bit? That's very powerful.
That is very powerful.
Yeah.
I know you also say that feedback doesn't have to come from someone else. It can come from within, just taking a moment to evaluate your performance and using that wheel that you see as a graphic, the wheel of life, to ask yourself in each category, 1 through 10, how is my happiness?
That's exactly right. So we take this wheel and look at the 8 different dimensions of life and say, how effective or how happy am I on each of these areas on a scale of 1 to 10, and what do I need to do to take it to a 9 or a 10?
I love it.
Very powerful way for getting feedback ourselves.
It is.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chuck. I think it's a great topic personally for people to feel better and also professionally as well. Here's the information for the Bolton Group. You can contact Chuck to get coaching for your company, maybe your boss, maybe yourself. He's located on 4th Avenue in Minneapolis. The phone number is toll-free, 800-310-9020, or go to theboltongroup.com. You're also lots of fun to follow on Facebook and Twitter.
Tiff, thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks for being
We'll
here,
see you
Chuck.
next time. Okay, thank you.